Hello, everyone, again. Welcome to another webinar session conducted by Zoho Survey. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Trishna, and I will be hosting today's session on creating a survey from start to finish. I have Suganthan here who will be demonstrating how to create, send, and analyze your surveys effectively. In the demo, we'll be creating a survey live, showing you how to add different question types, apply logic, customize your survey, add themes, and a few ways to send the surveys out to your respondents. We'll also briefly show you how to view and navigate the report section. So no matter what the nature of your business is, it's important to keep your customers, employees, and everyone associated with your organization happy and motivated. With companies nowadays having similar products and services for their customers, what has started distinguishing them from their competitors is their reputation and the customer experience they provide, which mostly both go hand in hand. In order to give a good experience to your customers, it's essential to know what you're doing right and what needs improvement. Information and knowledge is key to providing the best you can to your customers. The more you know your audience, the smarter the decision you make. This is where customer feedback plays a really important role. There are many methods of collecting this feedback. There are face-to-face interviews, posting a mail, telephonic interviews, focus groups, as well as online surveys. Today, we'll be discussing online surveys. Why online surveys? Online surveys has emerged rapidly over the last decade and become a very convenient and easy method to collect feedback from your audience. It saves a lot of time and manpower when all you have to do is send your audience a link to the survey and they can quickly answer it in a few clicks. Even analyzing it becomes easier with reports and charts being generated automatically as the response comes in. This helps in visualizing and establishing patterns and trends in order to make better decisions. Creating surveys online now allows you to apply logics and conditions which will guide the responses to relevant questions in the survey, improving the quality of the feedback. It allows you to provide anonymity as an option, which may not be possible in face-to-face, telephonic, and focus group interviews. So now I'll hand the controls over to Suganthan, and he'll take you through what he'll be covering in a bit more detail and the demonstration. So Suganthan, over to you.
Thank you, Trishna. Thanks a lot for explaining why someone needs a survey tool. And myself, Suganthan, and I'm the technical support engineer for the tool. So I'll be happy to demonstrate the tool today in terms of how to create a survey right from the start till the end. What are we going to cover in today's session? That will be displayed on your screen now. So to start with a survey tool, we are going to try adding questions to the survey form in terms like the available questions within the platform, how effectively you can try adding it to the tool to get the best results out of it. Second, what are the options you can achieve using an online survey tool regarding to customize the set of questions based on the answers. We name it as question logic. So you can easily display or hide the set of questions based on the answers of the previous set of answers. So these are the advantages of using a online survey compared to the traditional paper surveys. Next, we'll play with the themes to make the survey look more attractive, to make sure it looks good when someone opens the survey. And finally, we'll distribute it to a set of audience to collect the feedback. And once they complete the survey, we are going to look at the reports to analyze the data to get better insights on it. So you see the homepage of the Zoho survey over here, and this is how it looks like. We give you three kinds of options by default. One is to create a new survey. That's right from the scratch. The second is to choose from a template. To choose from a template is like various templates are pre-built within the platform. So on your left, you can look at the list of the surveys which is already available. If we talk about a customer satisfaction survey, you can have a list of surveys being listed over here. If you scroll down, you'll have other categories like the human resource, HR surveys, education, marketing. So on various categories, which is most commonly used, we have tried and given the best possible templates over here. So if you feel advertisement testing is a kind of template which may suit your requirement, you can just go select this and you can further modify the questions to your taste. Click on select, give it a name, and you're good to go. And the third option would be to copy from an existing survey. So if the surveys are already created within the Zoho survey platform and you'd like to redo the same survey in future, then you can just come here, click on your previous survey which was created, give it a name, and you're good to go. So you don't need to recreate right from the scratch every single time. This saves a lot of time for you in order to make the work very easy and quicker. So we'll start with a new survey for this webinar. I'll give the name as feedback survey, and I'll choose the category under which this is going to fall under. So I'll have it like a marketing kind of survey. Click on create. This will be the builder where we are going to try adding questions into it. So when we talk about a survey, it's always good to have an introduction to it. So to add an introduction, use the heading or description question type. Scroll down on the left to search for the heading or description question type. That will be available on the bottom, the very last. All you need to do is drag and drop it to the right and enter your content, like welcome. Please take a few minutes to help us understand where we stand. So this doesn't require any kind of answers to it. Maybe if you wish to add some images over here, you can always do that. Or maybe if you wish to embed a video, like an introduction to help the respondents understand the purpose of the survey, you can do that as well. Or you can also insert URLs over here where they can go and refer the documents and come back to complete the survey. Followed by, if you wish to know about the respondents, like their name, use the full name text box question and save. I'll have the email address question as well so that I could know who has answered. The name could be the same for multiple respondents, but email will be unique. So I'll have the email address question over here. Please enter the email. And you can force the respondents to answer the question by marking it as mandatory. Make sure you click on save. So for the first page, I'll have the introduction and to collect the personal identification. From page 2, let me start the actual survey questions. To add a page, click on the plus icon on your right. And if you wish to give a description for a page, let's say the survey is categorized into 3 different parts, like part A, B, and C, which could have a different set of questions. You can give a description for the questions on page 2 to help the respondents understand. This will be the theme of the questions below it. So yeah, but for now, I haven't given any description. I'll just click on save. To start with, I'll have a multiple choice, one answer question type. And the question could be like, please choose the best survey tool you have ever used. And the options, you can enter it in the below choices. I'll name it like Zoho survey. And the next option you have to enter in the next line. So one line per option. Survey monkey, Qualtrics. And I'll add other choice to make sure that since there are many options available in the market, I'll give you the option to enter which particular tool you have used before and click on save. So this is how it's going to look like. And then followed by, if someone chooses in particular option, then you'd like to know on what kind of parameters they are letting us know that that's one of the best tool they have used. For example, the functionalities of a particular product could be very good, or maybe the user interface was excellent. Maybe the most important, the customer support, which is in timely of help, where they're going to get in touch with you to answer all your queries or to assist with all the issues what you may have. So on various categories, if you wish to rate, you can use the matrix text box question so that you don't need to have different set of questions for each categories. I'll use the matrix choice, one answer question type, and frame the question over here. Please rate. Now, let's pull the answer from the previous question. So if someone is going to choose Zoho survey as the best product they have ever chosen, then let's make the question more personalized by pulling the answer. To do that, click on the insert variable and select the question. Please choose the best tool. So whatever answer they have chosen, that will be pre-populated over here. So rate a particular product on the following parameters. And the name of the categories, you can list it over here, like functionalities. Next could be the user interface. I'll have value for money. So this is also equally important when you consider a tool, because you can't be spending way too much for a tool, which is way too less in terms of giving the functionalities. And finally, I'll have it like customer support. And the options in terms of rating, maybe I'll have it like bad, good, and excellent. And click on save. So this is how the matrix question does the job. Instead of having it as 4 different questions, you're going to have it as a single question for them to rate. Now, you got the overall idea, like how you're going to add questions to your survey. Now, this is rating for the every single category. But if in case you also wish to know how to get the overall rating, like let's say, please rate a particular product from 1 to 10. So we have dedicated questions for a rating. On your left, there are rating scale, star rating, NPS, which is a universal standard to give you the NPS score. So I'll use the NPS over here and frame the question. Create the overall experience you had with. Now I'll do the piping again. And labels could be 0 as most unlikely and 10 being most likely, and click on save. Now this comes in numbers, but if I wish to have it in a different format, like smileys, I can do that as well. Here we go. So finally, we are almost done with the survey questionnaires. And what if in case someone gives a negative rating for the overall experience they had, so you wish to know what went wrong? For that, we have an open-end question below this, like a long answer question type. Please explain. Display this question only if a certain condition is met. And to add a condition, click on the select option drop-down and choose the previous question. Rate the overall experience you had. and the option is less than 6. So
Suganthan, we can't see your screen.
I'm sorry, just a minute.
We can't see the screen. Yeah.
Can you see now?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Was the screen visible right from the start, or
It was gone for about 10-15 seconds.
all right? Then I'll just start from here. Thank you, Krishna, and sorry for the inconvenience. So this is a display logic where you're going to add conditions to your questions. So to add a logic for your open-end question, just go here, click on the display logic, and select your previous question. If the answer is less than 6, so anything between 0 to 5, let's display this question. So that's how you add a condition to show or hide based on the answers of the previous set of questions. So that's it about creating the questionnaires for the tool. And once you're done with the questionnaires, we can proceed to the next steps. So when you have a paid version of survey or which is bundled with other tools, so you can have unlimited questions, unlimited pages without any restrictions. Now let's go to the settings and add a logo to your survey to make it look more personalized. And the name of the survey is given as feedback survey. But if in case you wish to display something else on the header, you can have a use specific text message and enter the content here. I'll name it as Zoho and click on save. Next would be the footer. You can have something like this. You can have your own brand. Again, you can insert URLs over here, or maybe if you wish to add an image, you can do that as well. Then comes the survey preference. So the survey preferences are like, if you're going to have multiple pages for the survey, you can enable page progress bar to help the respondents understand the total number of pages left. So they can, so you can attract more number of responses when a respondent has a clear idea of how many pages are left. You can also enable question numbers if required. That depends on the use case of your surveys. Maybe if you're going to use it as a test kind of software, then question numbers make sense. But if it's a kind of like a customer feedback survey, then it may not sound good. So I'll turn this off, and please enable CAPTCHA to avoid bots answering the surveys. And the name of the buttons, we have it as submit by default, but if in case you wish to have it like finish, yes, you can. And click on the save. Please don't forget to click on the save button every time when you make some changes to make sure that gets reflected for your surveys. And the end page of the survey regarding how you'd like to display when someone completes answering the survey form which has been sent to them. You can have your own custom message like thank you for participating in the survey, or you can also redirect them to a website once they are done with the survey tool. So this is a default termination, but what if in case you need them to land on different pages depending on the answers of the survey? For reference, we had a question, choose the best product you have ever used. So there are 3 options as a predefined answers. So if someone chooses Zoho survey, then you want them to be redirected to the Zoho surveys website. For that, you can add a logic over here and select the question. If the option is equal to Zoho survey, choose redirect to a new page and enter the URL of Zoho surveys website. Similarly, add another condition for please choose the best tool and the option could be for SurveyMonkey, and put the URL for the SurveyMonkey website over here. So depending on the answers of your questions, you can determine where the customer should land when they are done with the surveys. If the conditions doesn't match, they'll be redirected to the default end message, which has been chosen over here. I'll click on save and proceed for the next option. Here comes the themes. Under themes, we give you fully customizable themes to have your survey look more attractive. So before we go into the themes, I'd like to give a tiny tip about the survey's questionnaires. So to attract more number of responses, and being in this field for more than a decade, what we see is the more number of responses is achieved when you have less number of questions in the surveys. So on an average, it's good to have 10 questions per survey to attract more number of responses. But this doesn't apply for every single survey. If you're looking for customer satisfaction surveys, yeah, 10 questions per survey sounds good. If you're planning to conduct a survey within your organization, like a 360-degree feedback survey, then you don't need to worry about it. So the peer ratings will be taken care of by answering the surveys, and they could be forced to answer the survey to give a rating about their colleagues. So we talk about the average number of questions for a general audience who's planning to use this to gather more insights to improve their products or to take better decisions on launching a new product to understand the market values. And that's about the tip regarding the number of questions. And here we come for the themes. So I'll apply a simple gray theme over here and further modify it. So this is how it looks. Now let's start from the background. If you wish to add some patterns, you can, or maybe if you wish to add an image, you can do that as well. And the header, the dark gray area, you can change the colors. Maybe if you already have a color on your website, which you'd like to reproduce the same for the surveys, you can enter the RGB value of the color which we're looking for to get the right set of colors to be added here. Or if in case you don't want a color, instead you'd like to add an image to the header section as well, you can do that. So it's done. And next will be the body, where your survey questionnaires are. You can align the space between the questions, and you can also change the font size for your survey questions, for the answers. You can decide how you want it to look like. And you can also add colors to it if required. Now this will be the body, and finally the footer, where powered by Zoho survey is. You can add colors to it, and make sure you click on save and apply. So the theme which is being created, that will be available under My Themes with the name you have given. So you can use the same theme for your future surveys instead of recreating it right from the scratch. It's a kind of a template which is stored under your My Themes section. Now, once the theme is done, go to the launch and publish your survey. By publishing it, we'll generate a unique link for the survey which has been created. So you can share this with the audience using any email tool of your choice. Now let me quickly answer the survey to show you how it looks like. I'll give it a name. It throws up an error that please enter a valid email address. Now you see the above are also an open-end question, but the advantage of using the email address question type is it will validate the format to make sure you get the right set of answers. Now on page 2, We had many questions on page 2, but we just see one of those. The reason behind that is the piping logic which has been set and the question logics. So if we answer the question, then we get to see the next set of questions because we need to pre-populate along with the question area. So I'll rate the Zoho survey tool. And if I give a positive rating, no issues. If I give a negative rating, I get the question like, please explain what went wrong. And click on finish. So I have completed answering the survey, and this is the thank you message, and it's done. So when someone completes the survey, you can go to the reports and check for their answers. We give you two kinds of reports by default. One would be the summary of responses. The second would be the individual responses. Under individual, you'll get to know the IP address of the respondent, when did they answer, and the time taken to complete the survey, followed by the answers of every single question. You can have a detailed look here. So you can also export the data as a PDF if required. Whereas the summary of responses will give you the stats of the total number of responses received, and you can look for the data below that. Now, the advantage of using an online survey tool is to get better insights on the gathered data. Instead of looking at the data on a paper survey, we give you in a graphical representation for all the close-in questions. Over here, you see the stats below that, like how many percentage of people have chosen a particular option. And you can also customize the chart, whichever is more comfortable for you. Now you get the NPS rating. It's -100. That's the NPS score because I gave a negative rating. And all these data could be exported in the following formats: as a spreadsheet, as a CSV, PDF, SPSS. Maybe if you're comfortable with Tableau, you can extract it as a Tableau, or you can also open it up in the Zoho sheets. Now I'll just choose spreadsheet over here. So that exports which has been done, that will be available under the export folder. And once the status turns out to be completed, you can download and view the data. Now, I just mentioned like you can share the link via any email tool, but we also support an inbuilt email application within the survey. Over here, you can click on create email. And in the sender's name, you can customize your name. And send to, you can import your contacts from a CSV or XLS format. So to give an idea, this is one of the sheet which I have already built for my contact information. The first column, I have the email address. And on the second column, I have the first name. Third column, the last name. Now, the first column is mandatory, the email address. The second and third, you can have the first name and last name if required. And the fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh columns, these are optional in terms like if you wish to pass additional information to know more about them when they are done with the survey, like who has answered the survey, you can easily identify with the details you're going to upload over here. So I have added the gender, the age, which team they are from, and what is their role, since I have these details. So let me try uploading it over here to show you how it looks like. I have added the list, and this will be the email body. You can customize the name. I mean, you can have your own content over here. And click on send. You can send it right away, or you can schedule it for a later date and time. If I choose schedule, I have the option to select the date and time. If I send it right away, that will be sent. So when using an email distribution tool, you can also set up reminder emails to give you an idea to whom the reminder emails needs to be sent. That is no response. No response in sense, the people who are actually not even started the survey, not even the first page. So to them, I would like to send them a reminder and schedule it. Since I have sent the survey today, I'll schedule it maybe a day or two later at 10 a.m. So these are the recipients to whom the surveys are being sent, and you can have a look at it. Now, I'll just wait for my team to answer the survey. Meanwhile, I'll also put the URL of the survey in the chat for you to answer it so we can have a real-time report which could be more helpful and more easy to understand how it looks like. Please take a minute of time to try answering the survey. Thank you. Now let's go to the reports to check for the answers. There are two kinds of options. Now, one is the response and the other are the visits. Now, 26 people have actually clicked on the link, but only 7 out of them have answered the survey. Now, let's go to the individual responses to look at the answers. You can click on the previous option to look at every single answer which has been received. Now, this is one of the response which is being answered where I have sent them via the email distribution feature. So these are the details which I shared, which I uploaded in the email distribution tool. So all these data are captured by default. So I don't need to have the first name, the email address question within the survey when you use the email distribution feature. But if in case you're going to use any other tools, then this will not work. You have to go for the traditional way of collecting the names and email to identify who they are. But if you want an anonymous survey, then you can ignore all of these steps and just share the link with the respondents. So just to give you an idea how it looks like when someone answers the survey via the email distribution feature, here it is. And for the summary of responses, you'll have a better idea about the chart generation. So Zoho survey is chosen by 81% of people, and the other tools have been used by 9% of people each. So you get to know the count of the number of votes received across each tool. And if someone chooses other, you can also look at the answers directly from here. So this has a better idea about, now this is the NPS score. We have a positive score over here. Now, this is all about the default reports and what we provide. But what if in case you'd like to narrow down the report on a particular category? So we support filters to narrow down a particular category of responses. For reference, click on the create filter. I'll choose Zoho survey. The category what I'm looking for is the people who chose Zoho survey as the best tool they have ever used and who gave a negative rating so that I can quickly follow up with them to see what went wrong. To add a condition, scroll down and select your question. And the option is equal to Zoho survey. Add another condition for the overall rating is less than 6. Now I can choose match all. That is, I have to match both the conditions or match any one of the conditions. I'll choose both and click on save. So I see just one response who gave a negative rating by choosing Zoho survey is not a good tool. I mean, they didn't have the best experience. Here it is. So you can use the filters to its full potential to look at the data. And maybe if you are looking for something more which is not available in the report section, you can always export the data in the mentioned formats as mentioned before and do further analysis. Now you can also set up schedulers to have all the data sent to your email address. Use schedule report, give it a name, on which particular email frequency you'd like to get notified. You can enable it over here, either on daily, weekly, or monthly basis. To which email address it needs to be sent, you can enter it over here and click on save. So you don't need to log in into Zoho survey every time to get notified to look at the data. We will send you the email, but this is just once per day or per week or per month. But if in case you wish to get notified every single time when someone completes the survey, we also do have an option named as trigger emails, but we'll cover that for the later part of our webinars, not today. For the advanced webinars we are planning to conduct in the upcoming weeks, you'll get to know about that. So under launch, it's not just the online surveys, we also support offline surveys. Now, where you could use the offline surveys are maybe you're planning for an event on a remote location where you can't expect good internet connectivity. So the offline surveys could be used over there. How to use it? Click on Get Started, have a 6-digit password, maybe more, and enable the kiosk mode to make sure you have the next set of respondents ready to answer your survey. You can choose either it should come back to the home page or the first page of the survey after a few seconds. And auto upload is like if in case there is internet connectivity available, it can push all the responses back to the report section over here. Click on the activate. And what you need to do is copy this offline survey link and put it on a new tab from the concerned mobile or a tablet device which you're planning to use with the help of internet connectivity initially. So when you load that, it will ask for the password. Click on submit and bookmark the link. So you're good to go offline now. And after collecting all the responses, when you come back where the internet connection is available, it may automatically push all the responses back to the reports. This is how the offline functionality works, which could be very handy when you plan to do a door-to-door surveys or man-to-man surveys. This will be the most effective way rather than depending on the online surveys. The surveys what you create in this platform is fully compatible for all the devices which is being used. To have a better idea, I'll show you in the preview mode. Now this is the desktop view, like how it's going to look. Whereas in tablet device, you can have a look at this. And for the mobile device, it's like this. So depending on the size of the mobile screen or the tablet device, it will get automatically fitted, and it makes sure that the respondents have the best experience to leave their feedbacks. Now we also provide QR codes, so you can paste the QR codes on the event. So anyone is going to scan, they can leave a feedback for you. You can embed these surveys on Facebook. If you could integrate Zoho survey with the Facebook, so anyone who's going to visit your Facebook page, they can leave a feedback rather than clicking on the link to start the survey. Or maybe you don't want to send them as a link. Instead, you'd like to embed the survey right away within the email body. We do have an option for that as well, named as Inline email. But to do that, you need to have a close-end question on your first page of the survey. So what I'll do is I'll move the question of page 2 to the questions of page 1 To move that, you can just click on the edit option, hover the mouse above the question type, click on the actions, and move. Where exactly you'd like to move, choose the page after the email address question. So it's moved. So you don't need to worry about the orders of the questions when it's been built. You can always move front or back anytime using this functionality. Now let's come back to the business. Inline email. Which particular question you'd like to embed? I have to choose this, and using which particular email tool, either Zoho CRM, Desk, Zoho Mail. We give you the varieties of options. But if you don't want to use any of the Zoho tool, you can also choose other mail client, let's say Gmail. You can just go here and generate the HTML. Copy the HTML and insert it within your email body. So it will look something like this. So when they answer the first question of your survey, they'll be redirected to the actual survey to complete the remaining set of questions. So you can attract more number of responses to your survey rather than having it as a public URL. We also support embed options, where you can embed it on your websites. The iframe links and the HTML links have been provided. So you can just pass it on to your web developer to take care of the job. Or maybe you want it as a pop-up where it comes up all of a sudden in between to take a feedback after a certain period of time. You can do that. How much seconds later you want the survey to come up, where exactly it needs to come up. You can decide and generate the code. Just copy the code which has been generated and put it on your website to do the job. So all the possible options what we have is being demonstrated. So you can pick the right one which is more suitable for you. You can have the surveys online as well as embedded on your website. Also have it as a QR code pasted somewhere. So try all the possible ways to attract more number of responses. So this is pretty much about what we planned for today. And you can let us know any questions you have in the question section. So our team is in the standby to answer all your questions. And I'll also try to answer some of them, which is not been answered yet. And you can have all the recordings of these videos to be sent to your email, maybe by next week. So for any of your friends, you can also reach us back via email to support@zohosurvey.com. Thank you everyone for joining the session.